Things are only going to get better for DHop, and the pass rush has to protect those cornerbacks. Let's break it down. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Ryan. This is me going rogue, RGR, for you here on the channel. Welcome in. Hope you guys are having a good week. This team is 7-0. We can't really complain about that, can we? But we have to take some actual stock of where we're at this point. This has been an injury-plagued season, a lot going on. Chiefs made another move this week. You already saw the breakdown of Joshua Uche, and I understand that is the correct pronunciation. So if you missed that yesterday, go check out Dan's breakdown. Make sure you like, sub, hit the bell here on this channel. I'm Ryan. This is my channel, and this is what we do. This is my thoughts right now today on where we're at. We're going to break down a couple of things. One, what wide receiver position is with DeAndre Hopkins in-house. Two, what the pass rush situation is, why they needed Joshua Uche, what it means for the pass rush, and what it means for the backside as we take a look at what the next step could be trade-wise or acquisition-wise. And then we're going to take a look at how that drive saved the day against the Raiders on the defensive side, because that's what's holding this team together. I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you check out our friends over at BetUS, where you can get $150 back with YouTube 150 if you use it right now. A lot of that going around. DeAndre Hopkins had more of an impact than I thought. If you heard the shows earlier this week, the Q&A in particular, didn't expect him to get that many snaps or that many targets, or be on the field that much. That's going to start to change. It's not going to be dramatic, but I do think it's going to tick up. He was on the field for 23 snaps last week. I think that he could see 30, 35, something like that this week. Definitely more targets. That was just a Cliff Notes version of what you can do with DeAndre Hopkins. And I think you already feel what he can bring to the team, not just himself, getting technical first downs, getting the clutch kind of plays that he's used to making. I think you also see the enthusiasm lift. He's going to play all out. He talked about being on a team that plays meaningful football. Well, that's all there is in Kansas City these days. So I think you'll get more out of Hop than maybe you've seen this season, or maybe last season as well, where he was. But that enthusiasm, like he showed when Travis Kelce scored last week, that enthusiasm plays over into how he goes about interacting with his teammates. Guys in particular, like Xavier Worthy, Justin Ross, even Washington, Sky Moore when he's available, because he's got a hernia. All that will go into raising the level of the room. This is not the same thing as having a veteran like Justin Watson around. No offense to Justin Watson. Or like having MVS around. This is a guy that is a perennial Pro Bowler, that is a guy that can teach. And just his mere presence about how he goes about things will improve the quality of that room all the way around. Just wait till Hollywood gets back. Just wait till next season you get Rashee Rice back, at least in some form. We'll see what that is. There's a lot on the upside on the wide receiver spot. The best way to get into the action is with BetUS and their deal with code YouTube150. You can start playing today with that exclusive offer. You can get into all the football that you want, whether it's this week's matchup for the Chiefs, whether it's getting into the season-long odds against Super Bowl, against the division. The Chiefs are heavily favored in a lot of those, but there are plenty of bets to be made. And you can do it all at BetUS, where you can get 150% of your deposit bonus up to 3 times and up to $2,000. Use YouTube 150 today at BetUS. Now, they also went out, made a trade, not a huge investment for Joshua Uche, a guy that I didn't have in the matrix when he came out in 2020 because he never did his pre-draft pro day / combine testing. Just did a workout. I'm going to show you a piece of it over here. And what you get from Uche is a guy that fills some of the gaps that I've been talking about for quite a lot. At least the last 3 draft seasons, I have told you, Chiefs need to get a speed rush element. That's what Joshua Uche is. He is not a power player like George Karlaftis or like Cameron Thomas, who I do think is slowly coming on, but I don't think he's there yet. I think they plan to employ him more later in the season and just have that huge rotation of Menahue back. Mike Dana should be back and hopefully healthy by then. Add Cam, add Uche, add a bunch of guys that when it comes to that postseason, you can just attack. And I think that's going to work out just fine. Not only for Cam, but for the rest of the rotation as well. But Uche is a different animal. Cam Thomas, much like George Karlaftis, is a power-based pass rusher. Uche is not. He's a speed guy. He is a first step guy. He gives them that burst around the edge that they haven't had. This is the role that I'd hoped BJ Thompson would grow into. Obviously, BJ had a really, really scary episode over the offseason, but he was able to provide that because of his first step, because of his explosiveness. That's what Uche will bring here as well. In 2022, when used properly, Uche racked up 11 plus sacks. I don't expect that kind of output here, but he is a guy that I don't think will play all 3 downs, at least not initially. Maybe he'll grow into that because he does have more physical power and conversion of speed to power than maybe we expected. But he is a guy that is going to give you that first step, that edge breaking, challenge the tackle for depth. That's what he's going to bring. I expect them to run a lot of combinations. I love what we've been seeing from FAU when they rotate him inside and Chris comes outside. Now, Chris can stay in there. You can put FAU with him, and you have an outside speed rusher. So now you put that tackle in a one-on-one almost no matter what. If he's going to come down, especially, they're going to try to block him with a tight end or running back. Music to my ears. I think this really ups the level of the pass rush in terms of having a speed rusher. It doesn't have to be Uche. It could have been BJ. It could have been somebody else, but they do have to have that element. And it's a more designated pass rush role. It's not the everyday down kind of thing, and I think that works for him. So I'm excited about what Joshua Uche can bring. I'm also excited about the fact that Jalen Watson played up to his billing and what his expectation was from me. It's terrible to see the injury. I don't think you got much out of the backups in this last ball game against the Raiders. I don't know if Nazeeh Johnson's going to be able to play. Now, Nazeeh is a crafty player. I think he's still coming back, but he does give you something. His concussion is going to be, I think, very telling because Joshua Williams did not play that great either. So there's a couple of drawbacks on both those guys. Now, my guy, Chris Roland Wallace, had an up and down game, had some nice plays, certainly missed on that touchdown, didn't get his head around. He is not in a position that I feel is in dire straits, though. He's a rookie. He's growing into that role. To put him on that, especially where he was selected, what his role in college was, I do think that he is on the path to becoming a contributor to this roster. But there's still a need, and they could fill that need by going out and getting somebody else on the market. There just isn't a whole lot of corner help right now. If you take a chance on a J.C. Horn or someone of that ilk, it is definitely a gamble. It'll probably cost you a little bit more than what you had to spend on Uche here, or even Hopkins, which is kind of sad, but the availability, the supply versus the demand at the corner spot is nothing like the rest. So be on the lookout for that. There still is a week before the deadline, and the Chiefs could still be players. I don't know that they're going to do anything else other than corner. Doesn't look like there's much left tackle out there. And I think corner's got to be the thing that they want to shore up the most right now. They could elevate Keith Taylor this week. We'll see what happens. But you got to make sure that you are backfilling when you have these injuries come in and these losses, especially if Nazeeh cannot play. Now let's take a quick look at the defense and what it was able to offer, because I loved what they did here. Welcome back, sports fans. This is The Drive. This is play number 1. There's going to be a common theme. Check out George Karlaftis and Derek Nottie as they work this play against the rushing attack of the Las Vegas Raiders. Almost forgot about that. Yes, they got moved off the ball, but they did get a push. And look at the extension. This is the key. This is defensive line technique. Nottie comes off 2 hands. George long arms here and gets extension. See, right here, he's able to press off this tackle, and he's reading right here where this back is going. Nottie, same thing. He had the 2-arm press here, but he's coming off on the inside as well, knowing that he's got Nick right behind him. And so as they decide which way they're going to go, trying to cover that up, Madison comes inside. You have Cook and CRW coming to crash down here, beating their guys. If we go back, this is a pretty good stack. You want to try to get, this is Bowers and another tight end in here. And as they come off, Cook engages and is sliding, understanding that he's got Joshua Williams outside. He's got CRW inside. CRW comes up, takes on that block, and actually presses him off as well. And in the meantime, is there at the end with George Karlaftis to stop that play. Nick Bolton gets in there and sticks his face in. That's 1 down. Now the Chiefs come back, and it is play number 2 of this goal line stand. You see they're on the 1-yard line here. Same concept. Watch Nottie, watch Karlaftis, watch Tranquil. This is where the play's made. Coming up the ball and getting into the backfield, pushing up making that read. Naughty has tossed his guy aside. Karlaftis has his guy extended. What you missed is a wide receiver that failed to block Tranquil, who's come in here. But while Trank is making a great play, it is these two guys that are standing up the offensive line of the Raiders and not giving up that goal. Because as the running back bounces off to left, he's trying to submarine in. Bolton's cleaning up at the end, and Cook just comes to add on to that pile a little bit. The only guy who seems like he could have made a little bit more contribution is Justin Reed, who hits the backside here and is just kind of like, well, I think they got it. But this is the play. Tranquil, knifing. Karlaftis, Naughty, breaking up the middle. Boom. That get off by Drew Tranquil right here next to the goalpost. Boom, he's in the backfield. Karlaftis standing him up. Naughty getting that twist, making sure that he's the man in the hole. Play number 3, trying to combat and make this goal line stand. I think the drive of the game. Again, you're going to watch the defensive line do its performance. Leo Chenal is the guy to keep an eye on here because he is playing out of his mind lately and is going to save this play. As we watch it roll at full speed, take a look at the way they attack the ball. Boom. It's violent. It is pushed back. Naughty's guy. The guard coming off to get Nick Bolton is coming off, but that's not going to be an issue because the penetration that Naughty's already achieved. Getting on the outside of this block by Turk Warden is going to save this play well. He comes back in and is there to clean it up. But here he's turning his back, trying to make sure that he's keeping his outside shoulder so he can't get turned. And watch what Leo Chenal does here. Boom, he comes off the ball and jacks this dude. Again, long arm, controlling the outside edge. He doesn't need Turk behind him, but he has him at this point. And that's what forces the running back inside because he can't really break contain. He's got to turn it up inside of Chenal because he's beaten that guy right into Turk Warden, Derek Naughty, cleaning it up, a little bit more from Drew Tranquil and Nick Bolton being there. This is what team defense looks like on the front 7. It is your defensive line making power moves and your linebackers coming in to fill it out. It looks great live. Leo just being a beast. The linebackers playing out of their minds in this game. And this is the final. This is making that stand. They've now gained a little bit of ground with a tackle for loss. This is Turk Warden you got to watch here. As we roll forward, it becomes beating your guy inside. And that's right here. He stood up. You see, Chris Jones is drawing the double team, as you like him to do. This is Felix Anodico's. I'm coming off on Colton Miller on the far side. And yes, you'd like to see that he was a little bit farther penetrating that. That's going to change here soon with an addition that is more of a speed rusher. But again, the focal point is going to be George Karlaftis. He gets a great step off of this. Watch it real time. Boom, into the guy's shoulders. Now, that's a pretty good get off for George. That's about as quick as I've seen him go. And that's what it takes because that speed allows him to hit with power and jack this guy back on his heels. Now, this is just a power rush. Tackle's in decent position. George is still driving. This is what's going to force Minshew to step up. And as he does, George decides. Someone in Las Vegas is going to tell you that this is a pancake. This is not. George Karlaftis decides to pull off here and try to one-arm tackle Gardner Minshew. It didn't happen. He ends up on his back, and they're going to call that a pancake if they're watching. But this is Turk Warden again, beating his man up inside, underneath his pads, getting off, and shedding the block so that he can make the big play and take down Minshew to seal it up. This is what culminated the drive of this ballgame. That's it for me today. Remember, this is what we do all week long. We flipped it this week because Dan wanted to get you the film on Uche right away, and so I came in today. We're going to keep that going. Gary tomorrow. The game plan on Friday. We have exclusive content on our friends over at Autograph on that platform, so make sure you go subscribe and get there. The link is down below. You can use our code RGR as well. Appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you like, sub, click that bell so that you get notified. We're going to have a ton of fun. We're getting ready for Monday Night Football, which means we are going to have a preview for you coming up later in the weekend, so be prepared for that. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.